Aloha.
Hello, and thank you for watching and listening to another episode of Unmedicated and Educated with Keita Rose. I'm Keita Rose, and here we deep dive, dissect, and sometimes diagnose because it seems everyone, including myself, I am never excluded, has lost their damn minds. If you are new here, thank you so much for giving me a try.
I think everyone on YouTube has lost their goddamn mind. Some more than others. Today, nothing to do with this video. I've watched someone who literally lied about something, and when they get like addressed about the situation, they literally 100% lie, right? And you can see, I was trying to see like from their eyes or their body movement, right, is what do they do when they lie, right? And I feel like a lot of those tests, people say like, you see an FBI test like, oh, this is what happened when this person lied. It's all BS. If you meet a professional adult liar, because when you get to a certain age, past 30, you're professional. You're professional dater, professional cheater, professional liar, and it goes down the road, right? And when you see a professional liar as an adult, man, there's something else. I'm watching someone who literally got terminated on YouTube say, no, I was not terminated. I just deleted it. It's like, but that's not what it says. But again, I guess what I'm saying is that like, we all crazy, but a lot of us are way more crazy than others. And it's very fascinating to watch on YouTube. There's a bunch of like special people on YouTube.
If you're an OG, then you already know what the is going on. Like, share, subscribe. Talk shit in my comments, tell me how you really feel. And I'm going to tell you guys how I really feel about the bullshit that has
Aloha. Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me or see me? I cannot hear you, but I can definitely see your comment. I'm streaming from several platforms. What platform are you on? I think it says YouTube for you. Yes. Wade, aloha, hi. Guys, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the like, okay? And let's get started, okay? We're just going to try to breeze right through this.
Inspired over the last, I don't know. Honestly, it feels like a couple years. I don't know if I look it, I'm just exhausted. I'm just so exhausted. So let's get into it. Trigger warning, this episode will talk about abuse and SA. The topics discussed might be, triggering for some viewers. This is my personal account of why I left tonight's conversation.
Brevely, aloha. Don't forget to hit the like and also welcome, okay?
And why I decided to publicly call out, because I also called them out in private. I just want to say, publicly called out Ace Metaphor and Kitty Rose. Around January 29th of this year, Ace had posted a audio recording of a private conversation that we were having. In that conversation, I was having a manic episode. I was screaming, or get off my phone and let's stop this. I don't give a Fire today. Or we have no deal. I waited up until midnight last night. I'm tired. My back hurts. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. I need to work, but I'm still f***ing around with your bitch ass. He had called me for days, over and over again, at all times of the night. Really just.
Aloha, Limar. Welcome. Aloha. Hola.
Disrupting my sleep and my peace.
Over here, we use aloha, okay? But you can say hola too.
What he does best. And so I believe he posted that to showcase my bipolar. It was never a secret. I've always been a mental health advocate. I've always made content around mental health. So this is not a secret, but I think he wanted to discredit me because he knew that some BS was going to come out, and boy did it. He told his 2.4 million followers that I was extorting him, I think as a way to defame me, as a way to discredit me. I read comments about myself. People were like, oh, she sounds like she's on powder. She sounds like she's crazy. She sounds unhinged. And it's like, you know what? Some of those opinions are valid. I won't even lie. But in that context, absolutely not. He knew exactly what he was doing. So I just want to say this. It's cool when they do it, but it's a problem when I do it. No one seemed to mind that, Ace had posted all these things. He posted statements calling me a liar, saying I was attacking him and coming after him for no reason with allegations that were unfounded and all these different things. Listen, I don't have a reason to lie. The whole point of this, one of the points would be, be yourself. Tell the truth. And as long as you're telling the truth, nothing can hurt you. The weapons will form, but they will not prosper as long as you tell the truth. It shouldn't be a difficult concept to grasp, yet it is. When I started the series, January, I wanted to showcase financial abuse.
Okay, let's see if I can add the comments to the screen. So I'm going to try to figure this out while I watch this. I'm going to try to add comments, okay? Yes, yeah, oh, my bad. I lived in Hawaii once. Yeah, I never lived in Hawaii, but I like saying that. I feel like it keeps me in a good mood. Just saying aloha, morning, afternoon, evening. It just keeps me in a very good mood. So try to stay positive.
That's what I suffered. I suffered financial abuse by the hands of Ace, who I'm calling Mojo Jojo. Why did you choose the name Mojo Jojo? Because if you've ever watched the Powerpuff Girls, every time they were happy, they were thriving, they were just enjoying their lives, he was angry and he had to stir up drama because he thrived in chaos. It reminded me a lot of Ace. So I call him Mojo Jojo. You might hear me
Mojo Jojo.
reference him as Mojo Jojo or Mojo or Mo Three Joes. It really depends on how I feel throughout this whole, video. Ace dropped a statement. Kitty dropped a statement. Ace turned off his comments. Kitty deactivated her page and turned off the comments. And it just felt like they were all, really in sync with how they were moving. I think that you'll see that throughout this video, they use the same tactics. They kind of move the same. And unfortunately, I trusted both of these individuals. I trusted a lot of people I was working with. I was working for Tonight's Conversation and Ace for 4 years. So you kind of have to trust the people you're with, especially if you're on tour. Leaving your family to be on tour weekend after weekend, week after week with people that now are like your adopted work family. You want to get along. You want to trust people. You want to have people's best interests in heart. And you hope that they feel the same way about you. But unfortunately, it doesn't always work like that. So I decided I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to tell what happened to me because I feel like it, because I want to, because this is what happens when you decide to call out an abuser. Everything that I've experienced is public and you can go back and see it for yourself. And hopefully, if God willing, hopefully it stays on my page because I want to, number one, go back in the future and look back at what I've grown through, what I've experienced versus where I'm at that moment. Number two, to be honest with you, because after the whole Diddy situation and in the climate that we're in, when a person gets money and power and they don't actually know what to do and they're insecure, in my opinion, they get pleasure from causing people pain, you got to stop them in their tracks. A lot of people said things like, with this climate, a lot of people said things like, why did you wait so long? Why didn't you speak up? This is the reason. Not only do you have to fight the abuser, but you have to fight.
Before we get going, so far what I watched yesterday, what I personally observed is I feel like she just got a bad contract because in the industry she's in, it's not like your regular 9 to 5 that you work and this is what is expected, right? You say, hey, you're going to be at work from 8 to 5, right? You're going to get a certain allowance, a certain wage, right? $20, $100 an hour, right? But in the entertainment industry, you don't really know like what's going to be out there like in 2-3 years from now, right? So her contract was based on what they anticipated that people was going to show up and they're going to like estimate the overhead. They're going to do a bunch of things, right? And her she should have probably, again, it's very hard when you're trying to start. And I think the contract she negotiated, she just felt like she deserved more. That's what I'm getting from it, right? Calling out like, hey, this guy was assaulted when he was young, and that part was a little extreme, but she did have a good reason for that because the person that assaulted her is still assaulted him, Mojo Jojo, right? He's still doing the same thing. So I get what she's doing with that. But other things, I'm just like, well, it just sounds like you have a very bad contract and you didn't like it. This is my assertion, okay? So if you have something different, let me know.
Fight everybody that loves the abuser, people that the abuser have treated really well.
Yeah, like P. Diddy case is not the same. It's not the same because again, if he has a bad personality, I understand that, right? But P. Diddy's a whole different kind of ball game. You saw the video, you saw like the assault, like he passed that line. So
family members of everybody's involved now. So no matter how many times or how many people have told me to isolate, hey, listen, don't involve everyone. In order to call out your abuser, everyone is going to pay attention. What are you saying? Why are you saying this about this person? Is it true? Are you lying? A lot of people are going to have questions. So hopefully we address a lot of the questions today. When I first started working for Mojo Jojo, he said that he had made millions already in this business, in this industry. He had been on shows. He'd worked with Derek Jackson and Stephon Speaks and different other people, other influencers. So this was nothing new. And he just wanted to help. He presented himself as a mentor. Day one, we got into it. We fought. I remember telling Mary, because Mary was, the person that was following him and saying like, hey, listen, this is a cool guy. You do content. Maybe you guys can collab one day. I followed him and maybe 3 days later, he slid in the DMs like, hey, what's your phone number? Got a business inquiry. And then he was like, you want to go on tour and make some money? Of course. Do you money? Yes, I do. Yes, of course. I got into it with him. I had traveled. I was now about to be on tour with all men. There wasn't many women. We all had to ride in a small tour bus. I was like, okay, this is difficult. He boasted about his money. He boasted about his millions. And he said something along the lines of, everyone cares about money. Money's the most important thing. Nothing else matters. And I was like, hey, That's not all the way true. Yes, money is important, but it's not the whole, that can't be your whole drive, your whole motivation. And he argued me down. And I remember thinking, what a bad first impression. He showed me his Shopify. He showed me his bank statements. He wanted me to know he was a millionaire. Okay, cool. I remember going home that day or going to the hotel and calling Mary and being like, hey, you put me in some bullshit. You put me in some BS because he's not a great person. We're already fighting.
Again, I'm trying to be good. I'm really trying to be good, but it's just like, he gave you a chance, and that was a discussion you both had. Like, you disagree. Okay, he believes money's important, or you don't, whatever the case may be. That doesn't make him a bad person. But at the same time, it's like you give an opportunity, and this is why it's very important, right? In the online space, it's very important to start vetting people. I feel like there's gonna be a new app that's going to be used to like vet other people, right? Because in the online space, like sometimes no good deeds go unpunished, right? There are people that will literally do you dirty online, and they know because they have more subscribers than you, they would just like literally lie on you, and they wouldn't care, and people will see that just like, and I don't care. That didn't happen to me. Until it happens to them, they still will just feel like, oh yeah, I believe him until he did this to me. I'm like, but wait a minute, you saw the track record, you saw what he was doing or she was doing, and you still fell for it. So I say that to say this is like, there's no good deeds online goes unpunished, right? And it's also important to try to vet people. Really important to try to vet people, because if he would have vetted her more, spent more time, and just have some kind of probationary period to say, hey, we're gonna fill each other out for like 6 months to kind of see if this works, right? But then you go with people like trying to be like perfect for the 6 months, and then they just like become devils like six months 1 day. So you never really know. But like, look, right now I feel like he gave her a good offer, but she's seen it in a negative way because, well, he has a disagreement. Of course, it's two different human beings. Like, you're gonna see different viewpoints, right? But that doesn't mean he's a bad person. It just means he doesn't think like you. That's simply what I get from that.
Fighting. But the experience was fun. The money was good. So we continue along. Now, as I'm working with him, I'm hearing him saying crazy things on stage. Like, if you're otherwise happy, like if a man is otherwise happy and you're otherwise happy with a man and he pays all the bills, it should be okay that he, sometimes steps out on the relationship. Absolutely not. If he pays the bills in the house that we share, right, that doesn't give you a right to cheat. How about we, talk to each other? Maybe we open up the relationship. Maybe we compromise. But just because you decide to be a provider doesn't necessarily mean you get to disrespect me, especially if I think I'm in a monogamous relationship. And I would say shit like that on stage, and he would be so mad. And I would see that the women in the audience would also be so angry.
Don't talk about my man. Don't interrupt him. Why is she even there? I just want to hear from you. I love you.
So I said, you know what, Keita? Stay focused, get your money, enjoy this experience, learn what you can, call it a day. One of the next things that I kind of...
Well, if that offended him, right, and he picked you, I believe he would have probably got rid of you very early. Like, I think he likes that. I think maybe and this is one thing I learned about this online stuff too, and just like entertainment in general. Some people say things for shock value. They may not necessarily believe in it. They believe like it's kind of waking you up. It's like, I do that sometimes. I'll say some crazy shit just to wake people up. I guess that is for shock value, right? But I don't think. I guess this is the second time I noticed she said that too. But I don't think that's such a like. It's crazy he says that, right? But again, he knows his audience, and he's probably saying it for shock value. So I need to watch like a whole show, so to kind of gauge like exactly what kind of personality he has.
Ignored, and I want to use this opportunity to also take accountability, because a lot of people said you're not a victim. I'm not. Tony Gaskin said,
I don't feel like at all she's a victim. I don't. She's a willing participant.
Don't feel bad for her. She's not a victim. And I'll address that a little later. I'm not a victim. I've said that several times. I trusted a man that I look like Mojo Jojo. If you look at him, you say that looks like a shiesty fella. Okay, when you look at him, you can tell. But I decided to trust him. I decided to go against my better instincts. I decided to go against what I felt inside a lot of the times. I took some of the stories that he told me, and I felt a lot of sympathy, and I wanted to give grace, but giving grace just really turned into enabling. Absolutely. And so I want to say, this is not a shaking cry. I don't know what's going on. I'm a victim type situation. This is what happened. This is the situation. This is my story. And it was nasty. It was messy. But so is healing. When you go through abuse, healing is also messy and nasty too. But the best part of that is when you come out of it. When you come out of it. So I hope all of us can come out of this one way or the other. But another thing that I ignored was that he was a cheater. You know, when I first got on tour, his assistant bragged about sleeping with him.
Oh, you know, I'll drive 5 hours for that D. He doesn't even have to buy me a plane ticket. I drive for that D. He bends me over. I throws it back. I love, I love it. Oh.
That. Listen, I'm not a freaky person, so I kind of shut down when people are like doing too much in that department, but she was happy to be sleeping with him. Everything was going swimmingly. That wasn't my business. I don't care who he's sleeping with as long as it's not me. I'm not going to even hold you. As long as it's not me, he doesn't touch me. You touch me, you're going to jail. So as long as he doesn't touch me, I didn't have a problem with it. Until we were out, all of us were celebrating another amazing show, another successful show. And I remember talking to some of the men, wives that I was on tour with, like, hey, I just want to let you know your husband was, well behaved. He didn't do anything. I didn't expect that being on tour with all these men, that there wouldn't be so much. I expected more women. I heard a lot about tour life, but these men kept it respectful. But JoJo's girl walked up and was like, what about mine? And of course I lied right to her face. I lied. I was like, yeah, yours too. And then I went about my day. A lot of people say, well, right there, you're wrong. Absolutely, I'll take accountability. Maybe I should have said, hey, your man's cheating on you. And maybe I wouldn't have lost my job at that moment, but I didn't want to bet on that. I think your boss's business is your boss's business. And I also think that if you are going to step out on your relationships, you shouldn't involve everyone else. I don't think you should step out on your relationships, but if you are going to be a cheater, please go off somewhere, get a hotel. We don't want to see it because you make it awkward at Christmas events and family get-togethers and all that. I don't know why cheaters.
Okay, so I did watch some few videos after my live from yesterday, and some of the things she's saying, it can be viewed as character assassination. Basically, what I'm saying is that she opened herself to like a lot of like lawsuit because she's not really giving any example. Maybe she's saving that for like a lawsuit, right? If she gets sued, right? But all this stuff is like, I don't really get it. It's like, okay, he's a cheater. I get it, right? Yeah, that's bad, right? If you go to work on Monday, all right, today's Monday, and your boss is cheating, what does that mean? I'm not going to work for the company anymore? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if she could have easily just wrote like a secret note to say, hey, listen, just so you know, I caught your husband cheating, right? She could have done that, right? But I don't get. I still am having a hard time gauging this financial abuse and what does this cheating have to do with anything. It looks like she's literally just trying to like do a character assassination, right? And she did say like he sent her a cease and desist letter, right? And she ignored that, and now he's trying to sue her. I think he has a lot of case. I think he has a big case. He has a very good case too, because what evidence does she have that his help was like basically like they were having an affair because he was being friendly? She saw them engaging in intercourse. Like, I'm not hearing anything. I feel like there's a lot of animation. I love her personality, very big personality, right? But this is beyond entertainment now. This is like you're trying to ruin someone's life. It's not. At first, it was like, yeah, I love her personality. Then she started like with a mojo and all that stuff. Now it's like, okay, I'm still waiting. What did he do? I think we went like yesterday, and like we went really like an hour before we can get exactly what he did was considered financial abuse. And to me, it just sounds like literally just bad contract negotiation. Because go to your job right now. Look for how many the bonuses the head honchos are getting, right? And just think about how much bonuses or whatever you're getting, right? It's gonna like, imagine you work for Microsoft, right? And let's say you get like, I don't know, you get $200K bonus, and you look at like the upper managers in Microsoft, they're getting like literally like millions of dollars, right? Or let's say you get 10,000. Let's just put it for example, you get 10,000, realize that your direct managers making like $2 million from bonus. You get what I'm saying? So are you gonna look at them in certain kind of ways? Like, yeah, but at the same time, that should be a motivation to say, I'm gonna get there. Take the secret, take that it that he has, because he's giving you an audience. Take that and do your old thing. Because now what I see now is that, no joke, let's say I want to do a show. I'm like, absolutely, I'm not getting her because at the end of the day, she doesn't get the money that she wants. She's gonna like, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna come to the internet, try to do character assassination, because I really don't gauge what he did wrong, like really did what wrong in terms of like financial abuse. And because again, like every job, everyone feels like they were taken advantage of, because a company to them to hire you probably make sure they make like 10x off you. So if they're gonna make $100,000 off you, right? They're gonna give you $10,000. That's exactly what they do. That's a whole business model, right? He's not gonna give you some kind of like a partnership interest, right? Because if he takes his own money, $100,000 of his own money to start the first show, yes, it was good. Yes, it was popping, but that's still his own money. If you put in, say, hey, let's make a show. I'm gonna put $50,000. Put your $50,000. So let's split. Then we can split any losses there and any profits going forward. Now you have equity. Now you have something there. You cannot show up when someone already started investing. I know you think, yes, your personality made the show go to a different level, but at the same time is that you have to realize you're just an employer. Know that. And I say, because she has such a great opportunity. Like, look, she's doing well, right? YouTube is very subjective, well is too, right? But I feel like now what she has learned and some of the things she could have used in her own show, just like she's going in there with this, like, people may not see her the same, because I'm still waiting for something shocking. Yes, he's cheated on his wife, right? Allegedly. I don't know that, right? There's no evidence she presented. She just says, because she said it, we should believe it. Kita, just being fair. I'm really being fair. I was not there. I know some things you want to keep private, maybe for your lawsuit, or like maybe you have it on a different channel. I didn't see that, but what I'm judging of is based on what I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing, it's like, again, I get it. Like, you live this, so you have a different perspective than others that are just third-person observers, right?
Always want you to be right there in the faces of the person they're cheating on. It's crazy. It's weird. But anyways, I digress. So at that moment, I don't know how long we're in. You know, we're still fairly new. We're not friends. We're working together. But at that moment, I had known that he had slept with guests because he bragged about it. He sleeps with assistants because they brag about it. He slept with fans because he often told stories about, I don't discriminate. If a fan has a small hand, if a fan is in a wheelchair, I don't discriminate. And I'm going to insert a part right here of a podcast recently that he dropped with Pastor Jamal Bryant, where he basically says that he feels really bad about how I disrespected the disabled community.
And then there's one that I don't want to say on your podcast.
Just say it. We here.
Let me first say this. The reason I don't want to say it, because I felt that it was a disgusting thing to do or say, because I believe handicapped people, if they're mentally able, can have a routine, normal sex life.
First of all, I said that he doesn't discriminate. He sleeps with, anybody. And I said, doesn't matter if you're big, small, little hand, big hand, whatever. Everybody wants to be treated the same. So saying to them that they can't be a part of a discussion, it would be ableist. Let me know in the comments below if you think I'm tripping. But that's what I said. I never completely disrespected a community. I said he didn't care. Because he didn't. Big, small, wheelchair, whether they had legs or not, it didn't matter. Which doesn't, he's like, the disabled people need love too, man. And the disabled people are able to have sex. I know that. No one ever said that these people, like, the people weren't. I'm just telling, I'm just letting you guys know and painting the picture of, he was very sexually open. He was proud. He talked about it a lot. At that moment, he hadn't talked about abuse. At that moment, he hadn't talked about anything with men. It was always being very sexually charged with women. But it wasn't, a big deal to me, because at that moment, the podcast was called Love, Poetry, and whatever, but we were transitioning into Uncut, Unfiltered, and that was supposed to be more of the sex talk. So kind of got used to, we saying nasty things, whatever, and it
I don't like where this is going. I do not like where this is going. If you're a man or if you're a woman, please make sure people please make sure if you start getting people involved in your show, right? They're getting any kind of money, any kind of monetary like value, whatever. I think it's very important to like have some kind of like to have a contract that explicitly states some of the things that is going to be discussed. Because if this show is about sex, if the show is about after hours, right? No weekend, after hours, right? it sounds like that's the kind of topic you guys are going to cover. Some things is probably going to be for entertainment purposes. He's trying to be inclusive. Say, yeah, I'll give it to like, I don't care what, I'll give it to someone in a wheelchair. He's like, I'll give it to man. Like he's trying to be all inclusive, Mr. UN, right? So he's trying to be all inclusive, all you can eat buffet. But that's what it sounds like to me. It's like, it's a show. If this was a show, if this was a church show about God, about how like, hey, don't have sex before marriage, etc., etc., I get it. So it's like, okay, why are you talking to her about sex? But during a sex show, this is not looking good. This is not looking good, guys. I'm trying to make it to an hour. Oh my goodness. I may not make this. I may not finish this. Because when I first watched it, I think I was just fascinated by her energy. It just woke me up. I was like, okay, where are we going with this? Episode 1, let's go. Episode 2, episode 3. It's like, yeah. So a whole bunch of like names I don't really know who they are. Mojojojo's like, yeah, all this stuff is getting you in, right? By the time it's all done, I'm like, well, good trick, but exactly what is the substance, right? Now with a more cohesive way of organizing it slightly, and I'm just kind of like picking through. I'm like, some of this stuff doesn't make any sense. Like, what's going on here? What's going on here? Right? Because right now it's like, yeah, he's talking about sexual things because the show is about kind of like after dark, BET late night, kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like look around, is anyone here? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. That's what the show is about. So, and you were aware of that going in. Again, people protect yourself. I like to spit knowledge, but I also like to like, yeah, I like to spit knowledge. Like what it depends, regardless of what we're talking about, because it's very important to cover yourself. Okay, cover yourself, because if you would have had a contract that says, hey, listen, this is what it was discussed that like we're gonna talk about stuff like this. She was comfortable with that. I didn't force her to sign that, and she's aware of that. So that's what the nature of the conversation we're gonna have evolves sexual stuff. So again, I digress.
It was what it was. It wasn't something that made me say I couldn't be a part of this. I'm like, okay, listen, I used to be in the military. Men used to talk worse about their wives, about women, and about this and that. So maybe I have a high tolerance for BS and stupidity, maybe. Possibly, but that's some of the things that I kind of ignored. A lot of people are asking, why are you telling his story? But unfortunately, when you wrap everybody else in your BS in your story, it becomes everyone's story. When you place people in your life, when you've let people know what's happened to you, it becomes their story to tell. For example, I love to give examples. If you're a mandated reporter and somebody's venting to you, but in that, during that conversation where they're venting, they let you know that something could be happening to kids or to a domestic violence situation, maybe with a man or with a wife, with a woman, you have to report it. You're a mandated reporter. If they find out you didn't report it and you could have prevented it and you didn't, you'll get in trouble. You might lose your license. I'm not saying anybody at tonight's conversations are mandated reporters, but when you allow other people in your space and when you share your stories with others, you have to know that this might not stay between you. Everybody's got to be a villain in somebody's story. I'm sure I'm a villain in Mojo Jojo's story. I'm sure I'm just some bitter woman who's making up things, same as Kitty. I'm just some bitter woman. I'm crazy. I'm just making up things. We don't know how I got here.
I don't think she's making up stuff, right? I do believe that she's viewing the story through a lens of like, she feels unjust. She feels like what she alleges as financial abuse, she's stuck in that and just stuck in a certain kind of mindset. Like, well, he did me so dirty. Like, I'm just going to say everything. But I don't think it's made up. I just feel like it's coming from a very emotional point where I still don't understand. We're 16 minutes in. So let's try, man. Let's keep going, guys.
We don't know how this all, transpired, but they're villains in mine. Trust and believe. Speaking of a villain, let's talk about the abuse. I'm going to play a clip where Mojo Jojo talked about his abuse publicly on his public platform.
She's talking about rape. I'm talking about being molested.
She might talk about a whole bunch of different things.
No. But when we broaden the scope, it now puts more surface area to soften the blow of what we're actually talking about here. All right, so when you say trauma's a host of other things. We're specifically talking about sexual abuse and physical violence towards women and some men.
Then it was shared on his TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. So when he sits up here and he says things like, she took my story from me. She wouldn't let me tell my story. In some fake new Atlanta accent, because now he's moved to Atlanta. So now I guess I guess what the young kids say, he's a YN now. But let's talk about the actual abuse here. In the beginning, once he started opening up, Mojo Jojo would open up about abuse, about the essay with his mentor. So the essay with his mentor, he would open up about it during brunch, during dinner, during green room sessions, before the show, after the show. It was random, and it was whenever he wanted. Whenever he wanted to randomly discuss this, he would.
That's what trauma does, though. I wonder if she had the same energy if that's a woman. Like, she had this, like, this attitude of, like, oh, here she goes talk about this again. And, oh, I got her, you got abused. But, like, I wonder if you have the same energy for that. And I feel like people, you know how people say online, like, a man's not online, but just like in person, like, when a man is abused, everyone kind of ignores, like, all right, whatever, deal with it, right? And she gives me that kind of, like, that attitude. Because I guarantee if it was a woman, I don't think she'd say, oh, God, here we go again with this abuse story. It's like, again? Like, I'm eating lunch, abuse story again? Interesting.
And I'm not going to lie.
But again, I feel like she's coming from, because of who he is to her, what he done, she feels that he's done to her. I feel that's what she has, this personality when it comes to him. Like, just very passive aggressive kind of way of tones, like, to retelling his abuse story.
First time, it did take me by surprise, and I was uncomfortable. We were sitting at brunch. My boyfriend was there. My best friend was there. My assistants were there. You know, he talked about his molestation. He talked about his abuse. He said, you know, I already let you guys know this, and I say this all the time, but, and then he continued with the story. We did inappropriate things together, da-da-da-da. And there was never like an ending. You were always left wondering more. Like, why, you know, you had questions that he didn't really want to answer, and he never really wanted to get deep into it. So it was it left you confused. Like, why did you even bring it up? A lot of the times I was left with, like, why did he even bring it up? And I would ask people, like, how do you feel about that? Am I the only one that feels uncomfortable? Do you guys even care? And a lot of his crew, a lot of his team was like, oh yeah, he always does this. Everyone knows this story. You know, there's going to be many more. But a lot of my team was like, why is this happening? Why is he just saying this? In the beginning, it was only, you know, about his abuse. He was young. His mother was on drugs. His father was in jail. So he really didn't have anyone. He was kind of like given, you know, he needed a mentor. His mother joined the Jehovah's Witnesses. So they found solace in the Lord and in the Kingdom Hall. Okay, cool. Absolutely. I felt really bad. He gained a lot of sympathy from those stories. This happened to me. This happened to me. But it was never like this happened to me and this is what I learned, or this happened to me and I wish I could teach other kids or other people, you know, how to heal from this. It was always just this happened.
That's not, everyone is going to treat, you know the answer for this already. Like, this is getting weird for me. This is really getting weird. I feel like, I don't know if I'm going to make this, man. Should we just, I'm thinking if I should go fast, if I just like scrape right through.
Happened to me, and that's it.
Scrub right through it and find like a different topic because, she doesn't tag it, so.
For a year, I think, I was just confused. Okay, whatever. I would tell him, you should stop telling random people. You should stop telling people this. Because already we had seen that he's not a very good boyfriend. He's not a very good boss, right? I had witnessed him screaming at employees. He screamed at me. Spit came out. He's the spitter. He makes people uncomfortable. So we knew he wasn't the greatest person. He didn't treat everybody the best. Guests were complaining. I'll never come back again, saying things like that. So it's like, you don't really want to tell people about random people, especially about something so personal, especially if you're not healed enough to talk about it, to answer questions. You know, if you're just speaking about it randomly and then you shut down, a lot of people are saying that it might have been a cry for help. Maybe. I didn't know, but I felt very bad whenever my family members and friends would say, leave, quit. This is terrible. This sounds horrible when you tell me about tour, when you tell me about these weekends. I would say, you don't know. He's been abused. You just don't understand. He's been abused. You just don't get it. No one loved him. No one knew how to show him this and that, and that's why he doesn't know how to show it. Again, though, a lot of justifications, a lot of the times when you feel bad for people that have been through things but don't care enough about themselves to heal through those things, to heal from those things, you become...
That's not how healing works. That's not... Oh, man.
Enabler.
I'm being quiet because I'm trying to be very... This is what happened on YouTube. You're allowed to give commentary on people's videos, right? And sometimes when people want to shut you up, they will try to strike your channel, right? Just to be a nuisance, right? And if you give like a commentary, like if I really go in right now, even though it's a video, about a woman that went to like go see her boyfriend, right? Not boyfriend, a guy that she wanted to like to have a relationship with. In one of my TikTok story, there's so many things I held off from saying. So many things, because that right there, even I'm watching it from TikTok, I don't want to be too Howard Stern. Like I don't want to go too hard body karate, right? Because there's so many things I can say, and I feel like if I go really hard or like really, really go extreme, that she's gonna try to flag me, because I'm starting to be very scared of how her logic is. This is scaring me. Like, she has a very, and I feel like her bipolar is really being very observed. The more I just kind of like just observe, like, the logic is not there. Something is weird. It's like, I think it's two different person there. It's like, because she's basically extrapolating maybe something she would do to like what every abused person should do, right? It's like, you can't tell every single person. Like, if she has the knowledge to understand, okay, it's good for him to like fully be recovered so he can speak about certain things. I understand that, right? So she should have the knowledge to understand the fact, like, not everyone gets to that point. Some people would never get to that point because of how traumatizing that is, right? Because you're stuck, right? It's like, some people like go to prison, right? They go to spend 20 years in prison, and you could tell that mindset got stuck like before they went to jail, right? Because prison just frees you there, right? Frees you for that duration of a time of your sentence, right? So when you come back out, they still see themselves like this 20 younger person, and want to act that way, carry that way, and not fully understand the fact like, hey, people have moved on, and you should have 401k, you should have a whole bunch of things right now that you don't have. But at the same time, it's just like, if she understands a lot of the stuff, right? But she should also understand the fact like, not everyone responds in the way that she feels that everyone should. And the way she's going right now, it's just like, I don't even know where this animosity is real. Like, it sounds like, to me, it sounds like envy a little bit. It sounds like, to me, I'm getting that she feels like he doesn't deserve it. Yeah, he screams. A lot of like people like screams, a lot of balls. Yeah, I get it. He's not a bad boss, right? He's a bad person, right? But at the same time, she should probably like learn a lot from there, right? I know she said she's in debt, right? But that's kind of business though. Like, that's the chances you take. Like, you learn whatever you learn from him. Use that. Start with like, I don't know, 20 room of guest audience, and just build from that. Because she has a stage present. Learn that from him, right? Use that. But I don't understand where this hatred is coming from for him. Don't get it. And just how she just glare over like his stuff, like, oh, whatever, like you abuse, like, got over it, you should not. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoa. That's my way of like addressing that. Okay, so I'm not saying she did not directly say those words, right? But I'm just saying, like,
and that's exactly what I did. I'm like, you don't get it. But it wasn't until April of 2023, and the only reason I know this date is because, and I hope I got the right date, is because Randy, all of us were out. We had a show in Atlanta, and we were at the Slutty Vegan, and he said, Mojo Jojo would always start the conversations. A lot of people wanted to have a silent brunch because we'd always ended in fights and debates and stuff like that. A lot of people wanted to have a silent brunch, but he liked to talk. I like to talk. So we all talked. It was a thing. We did it every single time we were on tour. Mojo Jojo said, I understand why women accept certain forms of abuse. Like, maybe the man is neglecting her at home, or maybe he's cheating, or maybe he's mean to her, because my mentor, did that to me and forced me to sleep with other men and do things like that. But in exchange, I received trips, clothes, shoes, all these things. And at that moment, it sounded like he was bragging, and I thought I was tripping. But, I texted Randy like, what? And she texted me like, bad bitch alert. And I was like, he's sick. Like, he's sick. This is crazy, because now not only are you talking about it, but now you're bragging. I got all these things. I got this. I got that. And that there showed me, why he said the little things that he did say on stage. Like, everybody has a price, and you can treat people how you want if the money is good. It's honestly because I feel like it's because when he went through what he went through, the mentor kind of made the essay or whatever he experienced better by giving him things. Again, why are you telling this, right? Like, why is this your story to tell? Because you got a lot of sympathy. He gained a lot of sympathy from me. And I accepted a lot of things because I said, I just don't get it. You just don't get it. He's been abused. But then come to find out, he brags about it. It's something he thinks is cool. It's something that he thinks, I don't know, he can be proud of. He said it was his story to tell, but he's told this story several times to anybody that will listen. I'm not.
Do you know what I equate this to? I remember in high school, right? The girls in my class used to brag about dating older guys. Guys are like, oh, they has a car or all that stuff like that. He's working. I'm like, wait a minute. We're like 10th grade, etc., right? I don't think they were like, when I look at it now, right, is I guarantee all those girls will probably try to rationalize that those kind of relationship, right? And some of them were, if they look back and say, well, that was a very traumatic experience, right? Maybe I was not ready for that, right? But if they, some of them do say like, hey, I enjoyed that because of the fact that like, hey, he was working, he provided, etc., right? Also, that's how society is, right? But if they rationalize in that way and you say, well, and I always looked at it as weird. I always looked at it as got them weird, right? But if I'm looking at it now as an adult, like, well, that's kind of abuse. And they say, well, at least I got a boyfriend a boyfriend in high school that provided for me, right? Does that mean I should think of them as a bad person? Like, say they're sick? That's what I feel like she's doing. Like, maybe that's just his way. And again, I don't know what age he was when he started that. So maybe past 18, right? So if he's having consensual like relationship with someone, and of course you have the power dynamic, right? I get that part, right? If he's having a relationship with someone, right? And she's now saying, oh, that's sick. I don't understand that.
Sure what I told that was his, that was so private. Everything that I've talked about has been public, fair use. So I don't know. Why I decided to come out was in October of 2024, we had a show. I don't remember what show it was. And I remember being in the green room and we were all having a conversation, and Mojo Jojo started randomly doing that again, where he talks about his abuse. He said that he vaguely mentioned his abuse. He said that he only told a couple people. Okay, well, all the people with me heard it. So, and a lot more people than that heard it. And I'm sure if this goes to court and everybody gets subpoenaed, I'm sure, everybody will give their account of the things that they've heard come out of his mouth. He didn't vaguely just start talking about it in October. That didn't happen. He, talked about his mentor, talked about some of the things that him and his mentor did. And then he said, he's still mentoring boys to this day. And so from that conversation, Dr. Cheyenne was like, hey, well, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to step up? Are you going to publicly tell us who it is? Like, are you going to fight for these boys? Like, that's a natural human response. Anybody would say that. Anybody would be like, you're talking about this terrible time.
I agree with her with this part. Right. But at the same time, now the more I think about it, is like, do we know his age? Yes. I do understand that maybe that's being a predator, right? In terms of like, maybe he's using the mentor, he's using that position, right, to kind of like seek out man that he can definitely try to exploit, right? So I get that part. I really, truly understand that part. So here's where I kind of agree with her. Is like, well, if that person abused you, right, and you're not saying anything, okay, if I feel like I have to say something, I get it. So I really understand that part, right? But at the same time, it's like, should this be brought to the internet? Or if it's really something that's serious, like something you should literally try your best to kind of like get the police involved, right?
Time. You're talking about this abuse. You're saying that this is still happening now. What are you going to do about it? And he shut down and he didn't say anything. And when he didn't say anything, I kind of went into this mode that I like clockwork. I went into this mode like, well, he doesn't really have to say anything. And she was like, well, he should. He's 35. Clearly, he's over it. He's expressing it to us. Why won't he just, tell the public or do something to save the situation, to fix the situation if you're saying boys are being harmed? And I was like, well, everybody, deals with their trauma in their own way. So maybe he's actually not ready to do anything about it. That's what I said then. But now I think that he didn't see it as a problem. As long as you're financially, in my opinion, I feel that he feels, as long as you are financially taken care of, as long as everything is straight and things are functioning, whatever happens, happens. Whatever it is, what it is. It hurts, it's sad, but you'll get over it. That's how he moves with the whole situation. When I talked about this situation, so many people came out. I'll include the screenshots. So many people came out like, I know exactly who his mentor is. I know that he is still grooming. And again, these are other people's accounts. I do not know this man. I only knew that he had one mentor and the mentor did inappropriate things. I did not know names or anything. The people came out and sent me The same pictures, the same name, the same accounts. I can read off some of it to you. This is one account. Blank lives in some apartments in blank. He has been grooming.
Again, I agree with her. If the mentor is like using this position to exploit, I understand that part, right? But there's a lot more missing, and I need to hear from like his side too. And I'm gonna like skip a little bit. I'm gonna scrub a little through, okay?
Well, I know him
because at first I wanted to like last 1 hour, going for 1 hour, but I don't think I'm gonna do it. I just feel like I just don't understand where she's coming from in context of like, if someone financially abuses you, right? Why are we taking 20 hours to get to that abuse, like financial abuse? That should be the beginning of the video. Boom, boom, boom. This is why I'm making this video. He's financially abusing me. Here's why. Before I go to like, oh yeah, he's a bad bus because he wear pink on Women's Day. I don't know. Like, I don't know something. Give me something first. Give me like, because I feel like I'm being taken from emotional drive right now. I'm going through like, he's a bad guy first. Let's make sure he's a bad guy. And now let me tell you about the fact that he financially abused me, right? But to me, everything I've heard sounds like a bad contract, a horrible contract. So she should probably disclose her contract. So it's because some people, they may find that very lucrative. To her, it's like, well, I feel like I deserve more. Of course, every job, go to the job right now and trying to see exactly. You're gonna see like if the company can hire you to be able to like produce 10 times of what they hire you for, they're not gonna do it, right? So same like him, he's a businessman. But I'm waiting. There's no financial abuse I'm hearing.
He's done this, he's done that, and of course, people can be bitter. You don't believe.
I'm gonna scrub right.
What
there.
happened? She gave me a detailed account, a detailed account, and I was like, oh my god, he.
What?
But this woman's lying. She's a liar. And you can't believe her. But give me her information. And I was like, no. If she's a liar, whoever reached out, if this is a lie, I still can't give you this information because there's supposedly protective orders in place. So I'd be damned if I'm sitting up here and I'm the reason why a woman is placed back into danger. Hell no. So when I reached out to the person, got more involved, I connected with the ex-wife. I did. He was adamant. Give me her information. Give me her information. And I was like, no. So I talked to her. I said, what happened? She gave me a detailed account, a detailed account. And I was like, oh my God. He told me, I just want to make it right with her. I was wrong. I did some things I wasn't proud of. I just want to make it right with her. I just want to make it right with you. Honestly, I want the team.
Okay, so we're going to skip forward. Again, there's no evidence of this, or even if she spoke to someone, that does not necessarily mean evidence, because there's a lot of like cuckoo people online. Again, I'm going to say like, I was in a sector where there's a person right now that literally got their account terminated by YouTube. They're online lying. I observed watch them to see maybe they blink twice when they lie. They don't even do that. This person will pass a polygon like a lie detector test right now, right? Because they probably believe that YouTube says their account is deleted. They're saying they got someone else to like strike their channel. The delete is like, what are you talking about? Right? So it's just like, maybe that person she's talking to, how do you really know that's the real wife? Right? If she shows us a picture, hey, this is the real wife, they were this, and this is the person I really talked to. Like, yes, I believe that, right? But I don't think she showed us that. So I'm just gonna keep going forward, okay? Because people, if she thinks he's nutty, there's welcome to the internet, man. There are people that will tell you a story, say, yeah, I was having lunch with Obama, right? And will tell you the whole thing, tell you I'll have his number, and meanwhile, never met him in their life. And they probably believe it because they can take a polygon, a lie detector test right now and pass with flying colors, because you know why? They're that delusional. So I'm not saying she's lying, but I'm saying like that person, she's a legend. How do I substantiate that? How?
Team back. I don't want Trip to be upset. What do you think that she would take? How about I give her this money? Would she like that? When I offered, when I told her his offer.
Okay, I see someone being interviewed, so maybe that's her.
Told me his money was disgusting. And I said, you know what? His money is disgusting. I said, but nobody can take away the pain that you've endured. So a couple, whatever won't hurt. And for days and days and days, he called me.
Oh, this is a money grab. This is a money grab. This is a money grab. I think I have to do more commentary on this before she try to strike my video, because this is a money grab. Oh, adios míos. Come on.
Okay, what about this? I'll play some of the audio.
One question.
Yeah.
What about just the 5 artists here? Like 250 down, 256 months.
So give me 500,000.
I'm gonna tell you this: if you take that money, and you just put it in the stock market, in 4 years, you'll probably have more money. You know?
Oh, this is him saying that he's gonna give her $500,000 because he wants to like maintain his reputation because she's kept going hard online and she has 300,000 subscribers, right? So that can be damaging to his reputation. Man, I think if when he sues her, I need to go look for the documents. I know there is a lawsuit. I should go look for the documents and kind of like read it and kind of see what he alleged because I don't know, man. This is not looking good. I think we're gonna stop this video in like 8 minutes.
I don't know how to do stock markets. You don't.
You know what I'm saying? You'll just have it. You get what I'm saying? You'll have it. Like the idea, and this, I'm telling you from my side of it, what I would do. I would have the money.
People have been around you forever, and then other people's characters are going to start to be questioned. Because my first thought was, which one of his niggas knew and sat by an abuser and continued to make money? That was my first thought when I saw it.
In regards to things that happened with his first wife, that's when we got calls in regards to wanting money and wanting to give us money. He called it a ceasefire. He said, how about I pay you guys $25,000 each for a ceasefire? I said, that's not going to work. I need at least half of what my contract was going to be, period. I didn't say anything. Actually, my husband did because I don't handle business with that man. I had my husband call him. Beyond the ceasefire money that he was trying to give me and my former castmate, he also wanted us to go on Ayanna Van Zant, Fix My Life, with the core group. He wanted to pay for that as well. He also asked if I would come back on tour and offered a number there as well. Lastly, he asked for me to do a pop-up with him, like a pop-up at the next stop in Detroit for a tour. The very next day, he gets online making posts of a partial recording that he took of Keita yelling at him, but not the full conversation where he's egging her on and calling her at midnight at 1 o'clock in the morning and making offers. This is stuff that he did.
Okay, what about 500,000? What about 75,000? What about this? And I grew tired because every time we were on the phone, my lawyer was on the phone. His lawyer was on the phone. They're charging us by the hour. And then I realized this is just like before, where he would drag out conversations for days and weeks, where he would pester to get you all flustered, to try to make you make a decision or to try to make you say something that you didn't really mean to say. He did a lot of deals like that, and it's bad business practices. But you know what? He's a bad businessman, so it makes sense. I'll let his ex-wife tell her story, but what I will say is, in the statement that he made about just picking her up and placing her outside of the apartment, no. And you know what? Even if that was the truth, even if you only picked her up and placed her outside of the apartment, why are you picking up a grown adult woman and placing her outside of anywhere? He talks about and would always talk about his marriage to give himself more credibility on stage. Well, you know I was married. Well, you know I was married. Well, you know I was married. You were married for 1 year. After that, to somebody that was disfellowshipped, meaning she didn't have any friends, any family. She only had you at a very young age. You were young too. I'll give you that.
What does this have to do with financial abuse? Oh, God. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, this is really bad. Again, online, there's no good deeds go unpunished. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. That's why some people are being very reserved online, and I have to respect their boundaries because you meet all types of like weirdos. Like you will literally, I'm not saying she's a weirdo. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like what I've personally experienced because I'm still waiting. This is the financial abuse and etc. Right? But I just feel like this whole video is more character assassination, and then it's like the financial abuse, like probably the last 2 minutes, which I'm not gonna wait for. I have literally 5 more minutes, right? And I'm gonna call it a day, right? I want to keep this 1 hour. I'm very, I don't know. I think I was really caught up in like how expressive she was, the animation, like, yeah, let's go, Mojo Jojo, and all this stuff. Yes, I was caught up in that. I was like, okay. At first, I was like, okay, I was kind of surprised, the energy and where's this gonna go? Like, who is this person? Like, what? Who? Like, what? How come I never heard of you guys, right? And now, the more I go to her, I'm just realized that, wait a minute, you're just mad because you feel like you deserve more. I got that, but same as like I'm the same way too about my job. Everyone is the same. Again, I'm good at my job. I'm just saying I'm good at my job, but I wish it was a partnership. I wish it was a partnership. Like, hey, my job made so amount of money. We all split. That's not how it works. It's like you come in there, whatever you negotiate, it's what you're gonna come out with, right? But we all feel that way. But yes, he probably has some stuff with his wife. Absolutely. Absolutely, right? There's probably some stuff in there. But at the same time, it's like, let's stay focused on what's at hand. You want to make him such a bad person. I got that, right? But like all this story, I'm like, and the fact that like, yes, he was abused. Yes, the fact that I love the fact that she's going after the abuser, like they're still perpetrating those same behavior, right? But everything else is like, okay, the way you went in with his story and just like literally saying like the fact that he's not healed, he's 35 years old, that's still young. And when you get something like that, like he's gone through, right? It probably it probably feels just like yesterday. He gonna be 60 years old and probably still acts the same way. And the fact that like she's like, well, I know better. I mean, she's still like just like being this like passive aggressive towards that. It's like, oh, it's abuse. Like, I feel like it's really sad to watch. Really sad to watch. I truly came through this open-minded. I've never heard of them like until I started making this video, but it's just from a person that's never been involved. And because I know if I read her message, it's going to be her supporters like, yeah, let's go. But as a third person, I mean, a person I've never like really know the background, this looks really sad. It looks really sad. It looks like she's literally trying to like, it's a money grab. Because she felt she didn't get her due that she negotiated.
You guys were young too, but she only had you. That marriage was toxic. You held on to her. The app. We had known that we were all, he had already made so much money. He talked about it. I'm already at 100 and would say things, and I'm glad between him and his ex-wife, and he wanted me to pay her off.
This is to everyone. Listen, stop telling people how much money you're making. I understand entertainment business. You want to show I'm successful. I get that part, right? So let's say you were like, I don't know, some finance guy. You're like, and try to get people to invest in your whatever vehicle, right? You're like, yes, I made $200 million. I get that part, right? But sometimes if you're doing about love, stop talking about money, how much you're making. I'm telling you, the person next to you is probably looking like, well, if you make $1 million, how can you only pay me $10? You get what I'm saying? The wolves, people are hungry out there. People are hungry, and you're showing them your plate. You're showing them you got all types of sardines and all types of meat, and the wolves looking at you. They want some food. And I think she talks about that too. Like he's boasting around. Yes, I get it. It's like entertainment, and he's trying to show like, yeah, successfulness, being successful. Right? I get that part, right? But at the same time, is that she may see that because of the fact of how much she was being compensated. Like, well, wait a minute. If you're making all this money, you're making millions of dollars. I can't get $10,000. My bonus is not $10,000. Last bonus, you're telling me sometimes you don't have it. So it's like it may be he's trying to fake it to make it, but to her it's like, wait a minute, that's not what you're giving. You're giving like, I got it. I'm just being selfish, and she hungry. She wants she wants a bite of that plate.
Off, he wanted this and that. It was chaos for days. And you can hear me on the recording say, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm stressed. What? Are you really gonna go through with what you're saying with the deal, or are you not? What's going on? What do you want? Do you really want to resolve this conflict, or do you not? What do you want? And then I wake up to my voice on social media. Okay, vlogs picking it up, blogs picking it up. Do you know Keita Rose is extorting Ace Metaphor? Extortion? I would have never called you. I would have never talked to you. There's no reason to. So let's go on into the financial abuse. Since we talked about all the abuses, let's go on to the financial. Mojo Jojo would say things, and I'm glad Rico brought it up. Mojo Jojo.
Okay, financial abuse, and that's it. We're calling it a day, okay? And again, this is what I'm talking about. 37 minutes to get there. Financial abuse should be the first. Boom, let's go. This is what this whole ordeal is all about, right? But it took us 37 minutes to get there. Okay, she loves to talk. I like to talk. She's a YouTuber. I get it. So let's go.
Would say things like, hey, and I'll show you the screenshot, right? I'll show you the screenshot where he's like, hey, want to make some money? Hey, I really want you to put a show on my app. Let's build out the app. We had known that we were all, he had already made so much money. He talked about it. I'm already at $160,000 a month. And a lot of people were like, well, it just sounds like, he might not have the type of money that you guys think. No, he showed it several times. He can't help being braggadocious. He's gone on podcasts. He's went on Mandy's podcast and said, I'm a millionaire. He's a millionaire, he says. He has all this and all that, and he offers it to you. And he says, you'll have it too, and all I got to do is market you like this, and da-da-da-da-da. And it's all bullshit. In the beginning, he said, hey, I just need your Facebook account. I need to be added as an ad manager. I had no idea he was running ads. I had no idea he was doing the things that he was doing to attract or to take all of my followers, which at that time, I had millions before I...
Boxes arrive. Yeah, thank you. Good morning, Ace. I hope your afternoon is going well. I'm launching a new journey, and I'm about to start pre-order. I wanted to revisit the conversation of you per my journey on whatever platform you think would be best. I know you said you like 20%. Are you still interested in this? She highlighted, says, I will set up the ads up for you. He said he's going to set up the ads. Wait a minute. That's what I'm saying. She just said she didn't. Wait a minute. My ears, maybe I need some wax. Okay. So let's go back, and she says something about not knowing about ads. Let's go back real quick. She highlighted, it says, I will set up the ads for you.
He has all this and all that, and he offers it. He showed it several times. He can't help being braggadocious. He's gone on podcasts. He's went on Mandy's podcast and said, I'm a millionaire. He's a millionaire, he says. He has all this and all that, and he offers it to you, and he says, you'll have it too, and all I got to do is market you like this, and da-da-da-da-da, and it's all bullshit. In the beginning, he said, hey, I just need your Facebook account. I need to be added as an ad manager. I had no idea he was running ads. I had no idea he was doing the things that he was doing.
She had no idea he was running. Oh, that's it. I'm done. That's it. I'm done. That's what I'm saying. It's like, there's so much to this YouTube. There's so much to this like social media marketing that some people don't really understand, that it takes money to make money. I have a music channel, right? That I spend way more money that I'm getting from that, right? But hopefully in the future, one song is gonna catch on. That's it. I'm gonna be in Beverly Hills. That's it. One song, right? But at the same time, is that like for me to get there, it doesn't matter how good the song is gonna be, right? Because people have to still hear it, and that costs money. That costs ads. And if she just said something about not knowing about the ads, and it says right there, it's highlighted. It says, I will set the ads for you. Okay, I'm done. Please don't strike my channel because I just don't see how your people like in her world or in his world see it. I'm trying to be a objective as possible, and it looks like a money grab, man. Anyway, I'm done. This looks like I think the verdict is a money grab. Seriously, the verdict is a money grab. I'm sorry. I feel like we talk about financial abuse, and no, it's a bad business. It's bad business. I'm done. I'm not going to watch anymore. I am not going to watch anymore because I don't want to be too negative. So thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and I'm going to catch you in the next one. So the next one I'm going to talk about, I think I'm going to go over the Kanye West video. So if I made that video, so please hit the card, and don't forget to watch all the rest of the video. Okay. Thanks for being here.